Good morning, good afternoon, good evening across the country, around the world. Welcome back to Planet Coaster and Park Buena Vista, also known as the Disneyland that never was. Last episode, episode 4, we completed the train station. Now we're on to episode 5. We're going to jump in and build up a bit of what I'm dubbing kind of Main Street or kind of little downtown district. We're going to start off here in this little section with a firehouse. This is the first of most of the buildings here in the, like I said, kind of Main Street, USA area that is heavily inspired by the now built Disneyland Main Street, USA. This fire station was the first one. This that you're seeing here is actually the rough draft. Ended up being a little too big, a little too wide, and we end up chopping it down to size just a smidgen. We'll get to that in just a moment. But this was the start of it. But it is heavily inspired by what is at Disneyland now. At this point in my playing of the game, I hadn't got my new video card yet, so things were a little slow for me, and the particle effects at the train station right there were really slowing things down. But we got the fire station building here with lots of nice brick, little wood roofing there. I think this looks pretty. I mean, it's not quite the same scale. This is a bit of an L-shaped building. And in reality, the fire station at Disneyland is a bit more of a T-shape. The garage sticks out front a little bit, and there's kind of two small wings that are half the garage's width on either side. But I went with it this way just to keep it a little bit simpler. I did try to get some sort of... Well, actually, I tried it. You don't see it. It was at the other building. I tried to get some sort of open-ish window, window, that you could have a candle on. Because, as we all know, there is still a candle, which actually it's a lamp, that is lit at the firehouse on Main Street, USA, to say that Walt is here. Walt will always be here. He would light that when he, used to live in his apartment that is above the firehouse to say, hey guys, I'm here. Whether that was, hey guys, I'm here, behave, or just letting his workers know that he's there. But now the lamp is eternally lit, and I wanted to do something like that, but there wasn't there wasn't a way to really make that feasible. I would have had to make a big opening in the wall, and I didn't feel it, so I didn't go with it. Anyway, firehouse is coming along nicely here, getting these those are fireplaces, but I've seen Silverette use them a lot as lots of various things. So I thought I'd try them out here, and they work pretty well as little, corner posts there, little decorative bits. I found these. They're fun little railings, little stone railings, and they're useful. I use them a few different places here on my Main Street build here. Unfortunately, I am not Silverette. I'm not quite as good as he is, and it's taken me time. But it's fun. Every time I play Planet Coaster and I'm playing, searching through the scenery and the elements, I find something new, something different, something interesting. And that's part of the fun of Planet Coaster. Oh, yep, there we go, getting the bell up on top of the firehouse, because, can't have a firehouse without a bell. In the real one, that's kind of mounted in like a different shaped things that are just that square thing. But I did what I did with the parts that I had. I'm not gonna part out, some planks and things and make it perfect, because that would just take way too long. Oh, at some point, I keep forgetting about this. At some point, I will go and make a fire engine out of the art parts? Art shapes, the art shapes. I think that shouldn't be too hard. Between the art shapes, some round things for wheels. We have ladders, so we can use ladders, things like that, to actually park a fire engine inside there. Oh, yeah, and here, this is something that I was doing with this, and it was okay for a while. It's there at the end of this episode, but at the end of the next episode, I actually delete it, using the concrete as I mean, it makes sense kind of around the firehouse, but if you move the whole thing and you sink it down just right, it's just about ground level, and the paths will actually disappear underneath them. Here, whoa, camera work. Here you can just barely get a hint of it there. If you would actually remove the curb from that path, you wouldn't even know there was a path there. Whoop. Yeah, little jump in footage there. Now we're jumping over to work on the City Hall. I plopped an information station in there. Again, it's a pity the information stands are only good for selling priority passes. They don't sell maps or like in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 umbrellas. Yes, I know. What can we compare Planet Coaster to today? But unfortunately, it doesn't do any of that. So they sit there kind of useless. And actually, the people that work there oftentimes get bored and discouraged and don't stick around for too long. Raise it up. This is a bit raised up because one Disneyland is up a few steps. I don't have intimate knowledge of that park. No, I don't. And I think the City Hall turned out pretty well. I'm fairly happy with it. We end up, like I said, later on deleting some of that concrete at the bottom because it was kind of unnecessary. Oh, yep. And here I was going to do some pillars, and I ended up going with those, and they look okay, but they're a little chunkier than I really want. Later on, not this episode, I think the next one. You'll see it again next episode. Sorry. I'm recording video an episode or two past what I'm narrating, doing the voiceovers for. Anyway, we switch out those big, chunky pillars for skinnier wooden ones, and it looks more, a little more Disney correct. Yep, get that off the dirt. Oh, yeah, get the dirt off of that. Good. And there we go. Connect the path to it, and then we delete. Yeah, that makes a little better. Yep, pillars out of the way. Good. Yeah, so City Hall turns out to be pretty nice. It's again, a lot of the buildings I'm doing here are very, very much inspired. I mean, obviously, by Disneyland. This building is just about a copy of City Hall. There, it's smaller. It's downscaled, whereas the one there is a bit wider. This is a 3x3 building. 3 tiles by 3. Oh, yep, jumped a little bit. Windows, railings, and a sign. This is a 3x3. In reality, the one on Main Street would probably be closer to maybe a 3x4 or 3x5. But due to space constrictions and whatnot in the game, this is what it is. But it ends up looking a lot like the City Hall at Disneyland. I think it gets the point across. Oh yeah, those quinons, I think. I do like those. Again, all little pieces you find that make those little details and accents that make it look closer to authentic. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm not Quill 18. Oh no, I'm sorry, not Quill. He's still learning. He's new to Planet Coaster. I'm not Silverette. I'm not any of those crazy guys. I'm not even C-Top. But I think I do okay. Honestly, this was okay. Next episode, I get into trying to build the Emporium, and that's just a grueling process. Partly because a lot of the things I want to do with it are hard to do. The diagonal pieces, again, for the Planet Coaster wish list for things, diagonal pieces, diagonal wall pieces that fit between the other wall pieces. That would be nice to keep it all in the same building instead of having two that are at different angles. I know that's a way to do it, but I'd rather have things all in one package. Additionally, the other thing, wish list, Planet Frontier. Hey guys, you listening? Oh, I forgot. Oh, floors. Floors would be nice. Otherwise, you got to use concrete or do weird things. It doesn't really work out. What was the other thing? Oh, half width pieces. And jump ahead because I lost some footage there. There's a bathroom down there too. Oh yeah. So here I do something that's a little, I guess it's a little cheaty. We throw the Aeronaughts down here, and it's inside a building. It's basically a big show building. Do I put it there? No, I move it. It's basically a big show building that I think first I called it the Penny Arcade, but then I eventually ended up calling it the Crystal Arcade. Like I said, it's a big show building, basically, but it looks like some of the buildings on Main Street. This way I get a ride in here. I know it's a little, like I said, it's a little bit cheaty. It's not correct, but it gets people moving into this section of the park, which is a good thing. Yeah. So it works out nicely. It's a big building. It's a big square show building. It's actually made up of like 3 different facades. One kind of on the corner that is the Crystal Arcade, and one that's on one on either outside corners that are one's blue and one's pink. And for a while, the building, because I go with that stock tan color there for the stucco, the building ends up looking just a little bit like Neapolitan. Yeah, so it's kind of funny. But it works out. It does what I need it to do, and it works. I end up moving those paths around because that doesn't work for me. Can't remember if we do that on camera or off camera. We tweak the path. There we go. But having the Aeronaughts inside a building there is a way to. Oh, there we go. I do it on camera. is a way to cheat in and get a little more Winter Peoples inside or back this away inside the park. Another thing that I'm going to do later on, I haven't done it yet, but it should be coming in a few episodes, is the docks down by the steamship, the paddle steamer. I keep saying we. I am going to put in the Victory, the swinging ship ride. I think I'm going to put it inside where it looks like it's, like a dry dock. But again, another way to sneak another ride in there, because honestly, it's you got to compromise, or at least I've got to compromise between how the game works, how you get people to certain places, and how I want it to work and how I want it to behave, etc., etc. So yeah, we sneak this in here, and we will eventually sneak in the Victory down on the docks as well. So here we go. You see I'm putting on one of the other facades for this building. And if you look at the map, that I showed in the very first episode here, and I think should be the screenshot for these, or the thumbnail, I'm sorry, for these, the map of this area shows a cluster of small buildings. I went with it this way with a bunch of bigger buildings, partly because that's the way it really is. Like I said, it's very heavily inspired on Main Street, but the real Main Street USA, oh, those roofs were trouble. Anyway, the map shows a lot of smaller buildings that were this downtown, and I kind of converted it into Main Street USA instead of like the smaller small town that I think the map portrays it as. But obviously, if they're equivalents, then it kind of makes sense this is bigger. And I don't think I actually did mean initially to make them smaller buildings, but because I cheated in the Aeronaughts here, I had to make this show building bigger and taller so that everything would fit. And yeah, everything here on that little angle there does not want to fit inside with the ride itself. It just is not cooperative, not a fun place to be. Actually, and I don't even end up liking those slanted roofs. I might go through and change those at some point in the future, because it just looks kind of funny. I might give that whole building a different facade. Maybe square it up and do something, or do kind of a Roman-looking peak where it crosses in the middle instead of front to back. It crosses left to right. That might look a little bit better. We'll see. Oh yeah, and there we go again. See, like to get diagonal like I did on that corner there, you gotta have two different buildings, and they don't match up quite perfectly. I wish, like I said, I would love to see some diagonal pieces. Oh, and these were not being cooperative with the 1/4 or with the half tile width. Again, diagonal pieces would be nice, and half width pieces would be nice for everything. That way you're not, see, like there in the back, the roofs are clipped through each other. They're Z-fighting. And that is a little bit annoying. Sorry, that got really high-pitched. That's a little annoying. I wish a lot of things. I would like it if that was something we could get, but Planet Coaster, Frontier, they do what they can. I believe they're going to release a new, a new ride for Christmas time, like December 15th, I think. And that'll be nice. Yay, a new ride. I would love other things, but more rides is good, because there aren't really all that many flat rides. Anyway, it's about this point, I think, that I finally got my new video card installed. Because, like I said in the last episode, I was running a video card that was technically below the minimum specs. Minimum specs required a 4850 Radeon. I was running a 4800. I was, quote, 50 below. It ran, but really, really poorly. So now I'm running a, 470X Radeon still, but it's a few generations later, and it's so much better. So much better. And I don't know why I stopped here and just let it run. I think I was just kind of watching the people. There we go. I'm back. Oh, my wife might have been asking me a question. And, oh, yeah, here I try my hand at making, if you know the Disneyland and the Crystal Arcade, it has like this, I thought it was like a stained glass window from memory. I don't usually go into Disneyland that much. I'm more of a DCA person, Disney California Adventure person. But I thought it was a stained glass window, but it is this curved semicircle window. And so I used these signs to do it, and this is something I did that kind of felt like, hey, this is like a silverette kind of thing. But it's It's okay. I mean, like from a distance, it's not bad. Up close, it's a little janky, but it's not bad. Um, that makes it better there. Yeah, kind of tweak, 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 tweak. There we go. Yeah, that made it smoother. And then copy paste. Oh, it looks like an oriental fan. And slide it across to the same thing. There we go. Delete one in the middle, so not z-fighting too much. And then we put that big old sign up there. Eventually, I changed the color, and I know, I know, but I realized later that wait, maybe there's an art shape that's just a giant semicircle. So we'll see. We might try doing something else with that. There we go. Yeah, I changed the color to match kind of what's on the actual Crystal Arcade at Disneyland. We throw on some windows. Like I said, this building was okay because it was kind of my own creation, making it up. Oh yeah, I used these guys. They're fun. Later on, when I build the Emporium, it's kind of a pain because it's the Emporium, and I'm trying to do it with the parts that I have, and it's not really enough to do all the right things and the angles and things. This one, it fits just right, and we kind of cheat it in place, and it works, but it's not great. Oh, yep, there. That, again, that's a silver red thing where you kind of stack windows together. I ended up using a lot of these little, they're village windows, I think. Like, they look kind of Germanic. Like, there should be like a cuckoo clock behind the window there. But I think they end up looking all right as far as like display windows. There's no windows yet. All these windows are opaque. There's no windows that'll actually let you see through. And I know, I mean, unless you get the wall piece that has the hole and then just put the like stone frame. But that's not something I want to do. I kind of want bigger, like big, wide bay windows, both here and on the Emporium, which will be a next episode. But that's not a thing. I'm sure it would make the game do weird things. I'm sure if that were an option to let you see through walls. I wish it'd be a nice thing. Add that to the wish list too. But that's a tertiary thing. I'd rather get other bits first. So the Crystal Palace is coming along rather nicely. Like I said, later on I end up tweaking that color. Oh yeah, I was having trouble getting it to display the text. I don't know if it's a bug or a color thing or what. So I just end up going, all right, fine, screw it. New one. There's the text. All caps. All caps. Well, yes. Here we decorate this one. This one I like. This one, again, partly it's because of the windows. This one feels a little bit Germanic as well. Oh yeah, I do something fun with the windows here too. I sink that back and I slap in a couple of these plastic, quote, plastic windows. There we go. Yeah, I think that's a neat looking thing to use and duplicate. It's a different frame with a different window, and then we slap some of those guys on there. Yeah, but this one I think looks kind of Germanic. I think it's the way the wood is, and then what I do with the windows. They're a little bit smaller. Oh nope, I go with those. They're a little bit smaller than some other ones I use. But we also, I'm searching for it now. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Some things aren't where you expect them to be. Like I was searching for planters. There we go, planter. And I finally found the box planters. But they weren't with the plants and with the bushes. If they were, I don't know where the hell they were. They're their own thing. Whether they're like miscellaneous or wall extras, I don't know. But they're kind of a pain. Oh yeah, and I use these guys for the ledges. I gotta use more of these. Like these little wooden balcony, or wooden trim bits. They're pretty cool. They're pretty nice. I end up lightening. Yeah, I end up lightening everything. Boop, boop, boop. Copy paste all the colors. Yeah, just get a little more gray, a little more light instead of just blue, because that's annoying. And the wood is recolorable, but the textures kind of stick. And I use that as like a baseboard down there. And now we finish off the last part of the kind of Neapolitan-looking thing here. Trying to figure out, okay, how do I want to do, what windows do I want? And there we double up the windows down there. What kind of door do we go with? Big ornate door. That looks like something out of, I don't know, Rivendell or something. And there's a weird thing when you copy paste a lot of things, they don't settle back to the way they were. I actually just saw, who was it? Seatop. And he did something where Seatop? No, Conflict Dylan. He did something where he clicked to duplicate, and I duplicated it on the spot and directly into the precision alignment tool. And I don't know what he did. I really want to know because it looks useful. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. Again, making use of these types of things as little railings underneath the windows. It's a simple thing, but I think the detail helps. And again, with the awnings, because everything on Main Street had awnings. Most things on Main Street has awnings, I should say. And they'll use a different one up here because it's the top of the building. Boop, boop, boop. That is just about going to wrap it up for this episode. Next episode, we build the Market House, the Emporium, and a little food courty thing. I'm not sure what I'm going to call that, whether I'm going to call it the Plaza Inn or what. Anyway, we'll leave it off with a few cinematics. Oh, yeah, I do this again. I'm kind of sad I do. I end up deleting it. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. If you like, hit subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Pass the word. I'll leave you with a few cinematics here. Just a couple, just to kind of get a taste. I will catch you later.